Okay, so today's lesson is 3.10 to 3.13, and we are starting with 3.10, which is commission problems. So if we read here, a commission is the amount of money that's paid to a person when they sell something for someone else. So it could be like retail, it could be cars, and so on. So you can still use your ratio method. You can use a formula method. So our first example, we're looking at a salesman. How much money does he make when he sells furniture? Okay, so calculate a salesman's commission on furniture sales amounting to $6,500 if his rate of commission is 8.3%. All right, so if we were to do the ratio method, $6,500 is equal to the 100%, the total sales. All right, and we need to figure out how much money does he make for 8.3%. All right, so you can just use the ratio method that we used in algebra or the cross multiplication method. So we're going to multiply 6,500 times the 8.3, and then we're dividing by 100. Okay, so you just put that into your calculator, and we get x is equal to $539.50. All right, so that is his commission for selling furniture costing $6,500. Similarly, we could do it using the formula. C would be equal to, we're going to change the 8.3% into decimal form. So that becomes 0.083, and it's being multiplied by the dollar amount, which was $6,500. So you would just put that in your calculator, and we get the same amount of $539.50. Okay, so next example, a salesman gets a commission of 4% on sales up to $30,000 and a commission of 5% on anything above this. What is the commission on sales of $42,000? So we have to take that $42,000 and split it. So the first $30,000, he gets a commission of 4%. So we'll just change that to decimal form. So 0.04, which gives me 1,200. All right, so we still have $12,000 left, right? 42,000 minus 32,000. So I'll just do it here just so you have it. So 42,000 minus 30,000. So then we still have 12,000. So $12,000, he gets a commission of 5%. All right, so we'll multiply that. $12,000, he gets 5%, so 0.05, and that gives me a total of 600. All right, so now we have the two commission amounts, and now we just have to get the total by just adding those two. So we just add those two, so we're just adding, and we get a total amount of $1,800. All right, so the commission on a sales of $42,000 is $1,800. All right, so for this one, a real estate agent earns $5,937.50 when he sells a $95,000 home. What is his rate of commission? All right, so we'll use our formula. C equals, we had the percent, and then we had the dollar amount. So we know what his commission is. We're given that. It's $5,937.50. we are trying to solve for percent. I'll just call it X, and the dollar amount is 95,000. All right, just to solve for X, we have to divide by 95,000 on both sides. All right, and that gives me X is equal to 0.0625. We just have to take that and multiply it by 100 to put it into percent. All right, so in percent, 6.25% is the answer. All right, so his rate of commission is 6.25%. And of course, you would write down that as a sentence to end the problem. All right, so this next example, Joanne's basic wage for selling encyclopedias is $250 per month. That's what she'll get no matter how much she sells. And then on top of that, she'll get 15% on all sales. So we're looking for the month of June. June of last year, she sold $8,300 worth of encyclopedias. So let's calculate her commission on that. So it's 0.15 times the 8,300, and that gives her a commission of $1,245. All right, that's her commission. So her total wage would be the $1,245 plus the $250 she gets per month. All right, and then that is her total, which is $1,495. So in the month of June, that's how much she made. The next type we're looking at are interest problems. So interest is charged when you borrow money from a bank or some sort of lending institution, or it can be the amount of money we earn by putting our money into a savings account. So the way we can calculate interest is using this formula, I equals PRT. The I represents interest. So let's just write that down here. I is the interest. P is the principal. This is the principal amount. It's the amount of money that you put in your account. R is the rate of percent. All right, but when you put it in the equation, you're going to put it in as a decimal or fraction. And then T is the time, and it's in years. Make sure it is in years when you're putting it into the formula. All right, so it's the time in years the money is borrowed for, or it's the amount of time that we have the money in the bank. All right, so our example is going to take a look at how much interest was accumulated after leaving it in the bank for 2 years. All right, so Carrie deposited $300 in the bank, which offered an interest rate of 7.5%. If she left the money in the bank for 2 years, how much interest would she accumulate? All right, so our formula is I equals PRT. All right, interest is what we're trying to calculate, so that's what we don't know. The principal amount is how much she put in there, which is $300. The rate is 7.5%. All right, when we change that to decimal form, that would be 0.075. And then T is the time, 2 years. All right, so now we just have to put everything into the formula. So I is equal to 300 times 0.075 times the 2 years. All right, and then you just put that into your calculator, and we get $45. All right, so the last step would be to write out the sentence. So if she left the money in the bank for 2 years, she would accumulate, the interest accumulated would be $45. All right, next example. What is the rate of interest if Carl borrows $500 and pays the bank back $575 at the end of 2 years? All right, so his interest is $75. We take the 575, subtract it from 500. That's the interest. The principal amount would be 500. The rate of interest is what we are trying to find, right? The rate of interest. And then T is time in years. We are told is 2 years. All right, so in our equation, we are trying to solve for R. So now we can substitute everything in. So 75 is equal to 500 times R times 2. All right, so we'll multiply 500 times 2, which gives me 1,000 R. And now we just have to divide by 1,000, both sides, to solve for R. So R is equal to 75 divided by 1,000, which is 0.075. Multiply that by 100 to put it into percent, and our rate of interest is 7.5%. All right, so we would end with our final sentence. The rate of interest would be 7.5%. So our next example, Humphrey pays $200 interest on a loan of $500. If the rate of interest is 8%, what was the length of time that he borrowed the money? All right, so everything that we know from the question, we know the interest amount is $200. The principal amount that he took out the loan for, $500. The rate of interest is 8%. I've already changed it to decimal form, and we have to figure out the length of time that he borrowed the money. All right, so now we can substitute everything into the formula, I equals PRT. So we have 200 is equal to 500 times 0.08 multiplied by T. So we can multiply these two together. So 500 times 0.08 gives me 40. And then we have the T. And we're just solving for T, so we would divide by 40 on both sides. All right, which gives me my answer that T is equal to 5. So therefore, 5 years, all right, because T is always in years. So final sentence for the question would be the length of time that he borrowed the money was for 5 years.